Moving on now to Balasana, or child's pose. With child's pose, a lot of students, when they come down over onto their knees, will find a great deal of discomfort and pressure in their knees. So that's generally the first place that we look to prop the body. So Deb, if I could get you just to come up a little, thank you. So we unfold generally a standard fold blanket just by one fold, and then place that across the mat like so. And then Deb, I'll get you to come down onto the mat. The second place where students might feel discomfort is in the knee crease and also here at the ankle. So we can do a few things with blankets there. So Deb, if you could just come up onto all fours a little. With the knee crease, you could just come into, just fold the blanket over, standard blanket over into a single fold and take a blanket underneath the knees and then come back to sit. So that'll give knee support. Some people will need more than that. They'll need to have a block. Where are my blocks? Left them at that end. Okay, some people will need to have a block. So Deb, if you could just come up. In between the legs, if you take your knees just a little bit wider, yeah, to come to sit back on so that they're lifted up enough. Okay, so if you just come forward a little, the other place where they may experience discomfort is at the ankles. So we come to, again, a standard fold blanket and roll it into a long roll. And you may need the knee blanket and the ankle roll, depending on the student. So that'll take some pressure off by lifting the hips a little. Would you like that blanket to stay there?
I like that feeling. I also like the one with the brick in the centre and the blanket over the top, but I can only choose one.
You can have both if you like.
Can I please have both?
Yep, sure. Okay, so we'll take the block back in. Fold a standard fold in half. Support the knees, and then Deb can come back. How's that?
Feels great.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to grab one more block. So at the front of the posture, at the front of the body, we can take a bolster and support the bolster, widen your knees a little, support the bolster with blocks like this, same way we did in Supta Baddha Konasana. And I've placed this strap around the outside of the bolster. And as Deb folds forward on an exhalation and rests her head to one side, the hands can come up inside this strap. I'll just have to check that it's tight enough to give some support. We can place a blanket under here, but this allows the arms to come up rather than feeling the really heavy weight of them down onto the floor, and relieves some pressure from the forearm. How does that feel, Deb?
Feels good, thank you.
And how are your elbows? Do you need support?
No, I like that, yeah, they're fine.
Okay, so some people, like I said, will want a little blanket, not a high blanket, probably just a standard fold underneath their elbows. So with Deb's neck, we want to make sure that as she comes down, there's not too much craning in the neck as she folds forward here. So because we've lifted her up here onto the blocks, she's got less of a posture of flexion here as she comes down and over. So what we need to do now is to increase the incline to match this support here. So we'll take some blankets to a single fold. We'll probably need two. And I'll just get you to release your hands, Deb, and to come up. I'm going to put those on top here, and we'll just see now when Deb comes down. Okay, so that shape is much better supported now. She's got only a slight rounding, but that's okay, into her back, but her neck is not craning up as much. So she still has some shape there in her neck. Is it supportive enough, Deb, for your neck?
I can no longer keep my hands here, so now I'm bringing them down. Like that.
Yep, so now we would need the blankets underneath because we've lifted you higher. We may just also add You just lift your head up for me. A blanket there, just to come down towards the chest. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so now we've got a much better shape there through her neck. And if you could take your hands in, then I can create some rolls. Just put your hands in there for me, and we'll just see how much we need. How's that?
That's good, thank you.
Lots of blankets. So again, placing a blanket across the lower back, feeling that beautiful support and weight of the blanket. And the cover blanket again, making sure that the student stays warm. And I also like to place an eye pillow across the head. So that is, again, going to access some of that relaxation response, but also just slight weight. So it's the same effect that that blanket at the lower back has. So are you comfortable, Deb?
It's really lovely. Thank you.
So you would stay here for about 20 minutes again. And if you'd like to pause the video and do this practice, I'd encourage you to do that now.